The Olmec and Teotihuacan will strongly influence Mayan culture. Now, the Mayans occupied the Yucatan Peninsula and tropical areas of Central America all the way to Honduras, and we split the Mayan period into three different elements. The pre-classic Mayan up to about 350 CE or AD. The classic Mayan, this is the period that you generally think of with the Mayans. And then the post-classical Mayan, where they're still in existence. They don't actually vanish, but we'll deal with that in a second. The Mayans are generally divided on an east-west axis between two distinct cultures. And only this southern area is going to disappear. The rest of it will survive far longer. So this southern area is what disappears when you hear about the fall of the Mayans. Again, we have a strongly hierarchical society within a system of city-states. No single Mayan area was dominant, but many built up amazing cities with massive temples, ball courts, and civic structures. Most of the rulers, just like we see in the West and elsewhere, claim descent from the gods. This is a rigid system that would hold for over 600 years. Now, Mayan civilization, despite what Kleiner and other authors might tell you, does not suddenly vanish. In fact, the Spanish will come across the Mayans after conquering the Aztec as they move south down the length of Mexico. We do see highly developed mathematical skills. The Mayans are known as great astronomers, calculating eclipses in some examples out to modern times. They do not invent the long count calendar. That, of course, will be the Olmec. And they are not the only true written history. They are one of a couple of written histories that we have extending from the pre-Hispanic world, or before the Spanish come into Mesoamerica. We have about 3 texts from the Mayans, and we have a few texts from the Aztecs, and so we have some information from the Mayans. All of these cultures were writing. They all have hieroglyphic systems and systems of writing. In terms of architecture and ritual, the Mayans built closely organized civic centers, built around the temples, reflecting a close relationship between religion and civic life. Huge plazas would be covered with colorful images related to religion and politics. And we see the use of costumes, frequently used to depict status, as well as religious obligations. One other thing that we have to talk about with the Maya is the ball game, and it's generally referred to simply as the ball game. It doesn't have a formal name. This will be played throughout Mesoamerica and the American Southwest, beginning before the Olmec, possibly as long as 3,400 years ago. The game is played with a possibly solid rubber ball. The court would be either I or T-shaped, with 2 slopes on either side, the right and the left. We do not see any of these courts at Teotihuacan, but we do see them elsewhere. The courts varied greatly in size, and the rules are really unknown. We believe the rules may have actually changed from culture to culture. We know the players probably wore some kind of heavy protective clothing, and we know that there's a great deal of variety of religious implications. For example, in some cultures, this is nothing more than a game. In others, it ends in sacrifice. In some, they sacrifice the losing team, but in some, they sacrifice the winning team, because I don't want to sacrifice losers to my gods. I want to sacrifice winners to my gods, which really should make you wonder if the Bucks really want to win the NBA final.